Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome back to Final V3, our regular podcast show.
Yeah, every 2 weeks.
Twice a month, straight up. We keep our promises. It's weird being back.
Yeah.
It's weird recording a podcast again.
Yeah. I have barely even been on PST lately. I've been so fucking busy. So I feel like I'm out of practice. I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of comments of people asking where Final V3 is.
I'm shocked at how frequently I still get it from people.
Yeah,
like it was niche. It never had that many number, but the people who listen to it, I guess they really fucking cared about it more than we thought. Because goddamn, I get like business email inquiries about it every so often.
That's so fucking awesome. See, my favorite one was the one where someone went back to one of the last episodes that we did, where we like called our shot about here's all the stuff we're gonna do, and if we don't do it, you can bully us. And then we just kept not doing it. So thanks. I forget your name.
At least one person remembered. Thank you.
Rubbing salt. I forget.
We did. No, you don't get to be bitchy. We literally told them to do that.
We did. Actually, why did only one of you do that? Maybe they don't care as much as we thought.
Maybe we would have actually been accountable if you had held us, accountable. Maybe this is your fault, listener.
This is their fault.
So with that out of the way, and with the Patreon definitively unpaused, are we unpausing that, by the way?
I think the idea is we're gonna roll out some of these episodes
and then
and then we're gonna unpause it when people have decided whether they still give a shit.
I think that's a good idea. I think that's a very good idea.
Giving people grace. You're welcome.
Yeah. What did we make? What things did we promise to people that we didn't end up doing? I know at least one person asked me, like, how did Bag Year go? And
yeah. The two things we both said we were about to do next was, I think for you, it was the car video.
Oh, god damn it.
And for me, it was, I think it was just the video thing. Which I am working on again.
Yeah, you were working on it earlier today. And you've rewritten the ending for the fourth time?
I'm excited about it. I've rewritten it to be something I could not and would not have written a year ago.
You've grown some balls over the past year or two when it comes to creativity. You've started committing to funny ideas more often.
Thank you. It's like we said earlier, better person, worse podcaster.
Yeah.
There's a correlation there.
Absolutely.
And it bodes really poorly for everyone listening to this, but I'm having a good time. How about you? When did the car video start getting deprioritized? Because
it never got prioritized. I thought that I would have the time to prioritize it, and like every year, something else took priority instead.
Yeah, a beautiful statement of intent.
You see, listener, I have contractual obligations that are tied to my income, and I must meet those obligations.
I remember the Halo video, the Quake video being like one of the things that, not for the car video specifically, but like popped up and kicked something else down the road so that you could meet a contractual video month obligation.
God, I don't even remember what it was. I feel like I'm doing that every fucking month these days, man. It's rough out here. I'm really I'm doing my best. We don't need to get into that, but yeah, long story short, that's kind of my default mode of operation as of late. Is like figuring out the thing that's the most behind and trying to get that sorted. Remember when I was talking about the AI video coming out like 7 months ago? I thought that was going to be like a January upload. That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, that's what the Quake video was supposed to be.
It was.
We're going to do this one. Yeah, and then the AI video is going to come out.
Then the AI video is coming out.
But then you have to deal with the contractual obligation. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting having that come out now instead of when it was written.
To be honest, I think it all still pretty much rings true.
Yeah.
I was worried when I wrote it that by the time, like if it took this long to come out, the bubble would have popped. But, I don't think that's a concern. So maybe we should invest in crypto or something to speed this along a little bit.
Fuck yes. But yeah, and on my side, I've mostly been doing contract work this year. I've been working on...
Not recent. It's been announced for a while. It got formally, announced, but like the a while ago as like a.
I found out later that I'm supposed to pretend that didn't happen, so we can snip that bit out.
Oh, but come on. It's so funny. Come on. What the fuck?
You can't call it a stunt for reasons. But
I can still say it happened because it did.
yeah, whatever. Snip it however you want, Billy.
Fuck you.
But yeah, I've been working on that, and it's only recently that I finally like begun circling around to all of the personal projects and shit like that. I was too busy
getting coins,
reconnecting with my family and getting coins and all of that bullshit that I should have been uploading here.
Yeah, but it's okay.
I made the wrong call.
You've cut them off, and now you're ready.
Cut them off. Yeah.
We're back for our real. We're back. We're here for our real family.
Exactly. And my family is not subscribed to my Patreon.
That was good. That was a good follow-up.
I got a distracting notification.
Billy, I want you to like double or triple the pause between when I say that and when Sam follows it up, so that like we really have the proper build-up for that. You know, we need to have like the setup and payoff for that joke to really land.
If you linger on a fumble enough, it becomes a joke.
Yes, especially when you spend an entire minute saying that it was a fumble.
We should spend most of this episode telling Billy to edit it in different ways.
We've got 50 minutes.
If we want. There's a lot of stuff that I'm on the precipice of being able to talk about to the extent that I want.
I'm on the precipice of getting my shit together. I'm excited for that to happen.
Guys, if this doesn't happen by next episode, you can bully us.
Yes.
We keep making that every year.
So, speaking of canceled projects that we couldn't commit to but teased a whole bunch, I've mentioned the Halo video several times, both on the main channel and then whenever I started to realize that it was never going to happen here on the podcast. But I think I'm ready to just actually share that incomplete script. I would like to share in some way the work that I did back then. I only just recently revisited the script, and it's like 18 fucking pages of a draft, and it doesn't even get to the point where the game launches. And then there's like another 15 pages of just stray notes and ideas that need to be organized as I mean, such is the way. But there's a lot of stuff here, and most of it has been covered. Pretty much all of it in some way has been at the very least alluded to, either by, spokespeople for the company or by reporters. But for one reason or another, no one wants to get into a lot of the detail of what things were actually like. And a lot of it is just because it was really fucking complicated, right? It's like a huge studio. There's tons of people coming in and out all the time. And it's well documented that it's like very siloed off. And so, a per person sentiment can vary wildly, but a per department sentiment can vary even more wildly than that. And so it was really hard to do research on the story of Halo Infinite, because in a lot of times you'd speak to two people and you'd get two entirely different perspectives that seemed completely incongruent at first. And it was only after I had spoken to like at least 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fucking different people that I started to get a better idea of what was going on and be able to talk with any degree of confidence. Even then, there's going to be a lot of stuff in this that I'm going to have to not talk about because it couldn't be verified for one reason or another. And I don't want to put anyone at risk who was, gracious enough and to take the risks to speak to someone like me about this. So bear with us as we go through this and share as much of it as we can.
Yes. And I should be clear, I did not contribute any information or research or reporting or whatever to the script. I think you did most of that before we started working together.
Yeah.
As people.
No, we didn't. I was working on this before I even knew you.
Yeah. I think my only contribution was like I helped with some structural stuff.
Yeah, you
at
had
one
some
point in
you had
2023.
You had some ideas on like how I could tell the story a little better, but that was pretty much it. Your contributions to this are minimal, and as is your memory of it.
Yeah, I'm very scared.
It's bad.
Ugh, I don't know. It feels like I remember you talked about the script a few times when we were working on the Bass Reeves video.
Mm-hmm.
And script as like a reference point from a past time that you tried to tackle similar themes. So that bodes super fucking well.
Well, the difference is that I had a lot of trouble, and one of the reasons that this video never came out is because of the fact that I couldn't verify a lot of the stuff that I wanted to talk about. You know, like in order to tell a story, there are certain pieces of information that need to be confirmed in order to tell it a certain way, and I wouldn't be doing it justice if I didn't talk about certain things. I got through a lot of that as other reporters were able to find that more succinctly because they're better at reporting than me and doing research and shit, which is where a lot of the information in this comes from. It sort of backs up things that I heard. And so eventually what this video became was just adding more context with what I could. But even then, it's like none of that can compare to the level of access that Zalavir just gave me for free. I will say the girl listening is probably really fucking annoyed at the fact that we've spent 15 minutes recording, however long it'll be edited down to, and we have yet to actually read any of the script. So we should probably get to that before our reviewer retention like dips into negative numbers.
It's already happened. We're good.
Okay. I've got a bunch of notes that me telling myself what I should do in the future and where to remember to do things. This script is really unfinished, by the way. I can't stress enough that this is a fucking mess. I'm going to have to be like authors noting the fuck out of it to like fill in the gaps. It's also worth noting that one of the last things that I do in script writing is add jokes. And so this is going to be very dry compared to what you may expect from something that I've written. Usually I rope in Sam and or Ed to help me with the structural and joke writing parts of it, but it has to get written first. You have to get the elf on it. And so this is still an elf draft. I will not be explaining what that means.
Yeah. It opens with the disclosure, these are my personal opinions and not the opinions of that of my friend Sam, who cannot be held accountable for anything I say.
Yes. It says that word for word, but I can't repeat it because I lost my place on the document. So instead, I'm going to go down to the intro. Oh, yeah. And there was one other thing. This is really obnoxious in hindsight, but I really, really, really wanted to do this for absolute clarity back in the day. I wanted to do this thing where I had an indicator on the screen at all times that was essentially color coding anything that I was saying by level of confidence. So like red for rumor, yellow for like probably happened, like blue for speculation, green for definitely happened, like confirmed.
So what are you going to just start saying colors at us when you...
No. It's not really necessary for the version of the script because I grew up and realized that I needed to just not say things that I didn't know if they were true or not. So we're not going to be touching those.
Cool.
Anyway. Oh, wow. I forgot I did. Holy shit. Okay, this is probably lost. I'd be shocked if this is still anywhere. But this is back in my era where I was still mostly doing like actual animation work. And I had this idea for a cold open of this one, because this was around the time of the Need for Speed video, where like it did the cold open of a car sequence and then crashing through the wall. I was constantly damaging the set back then. So like I wanted to do an Halo Infinite cutscene inspired cold open of just like stupid, like doofy little guy putting on Halo armor and jump out of Pelican and skydive towards a set and then bait and switch that, where instead of me actually like we cut to the set. And it's dead silent, and instead I just like calmly walk through the door, you know, like
cool.
not skydiving. And then the video goes on for like a minute or two, and at some point it's interrupted whenever a body violently crashes to the ground.
Awesome. That's really good.
Yeah, I liked that joke a lot. Maybe I'll recycle it for something else.
Yeah.
Anyway, so here is the beginning of the script. I've organized them into chapters. Chapter 1 is labeled intro. This will come after the jokes.
Imagine it was funny here.
Yeah, imagine that something really funny happened and then I started talking. In 2021, Halo Infinite was released to almost universal acclaim from critics and fans alike. It was described as a return to form and an encouraging first step towards a brighter future for Halo and its developer 343 Industries. Fuck me, that hurts way more now than it does when I wrote it. Holy shit. It's been over a year since then, at time of writing, and opinions on the game have done a complete 180. They've done like a fucking 720 by now. It's crazy. Since release, the game, touted as a 10-year project, has been in the news and trending online almost exclusively based on what hasn't been delivered. Whether you like Halo Infinite or not, whether you've played or even care about it at all. I think everyone can agree at this point that it has some issues. Wow, dude, this is such an annoying way of writing this. I think we can all agree. I say putting on my fucking enlightened centrist shirt. Half-truths, broken promises, pitiful engagement stats. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, the multiplayer did really poorly post-launch. Those are the leading points of discussion, and yet nobody chatting about this game seems to have any idea what they're fucking talking about. Man, I was still really mad about that back then. Wow. I doubt you'd be surprised if I told you the game had a rough time in development, but what if Oh, shut up, dude. Okay, this is my attempt at making a hook, and I definitely knew at the time I needed to punch it up, but the placeholder was, what if I specified that I've spoken to dozens of devs off the record, and I'm about to go more in detail on what exactly went wrong than anyone else has?
Oh my God.
And then I get even more annoying by saying ... It's a lot. By the way, a lot went wrong.
I feel like most of this is going to be you trying to like beat your younger self with a hammer's back.
Yeah, I've gotten better at script writing. I've spoken to these developers, all of whom agreed to speak to me anonymously so as not to risk ending their own careers or becoming a target for harassment, and I've dug up countless articles reporting on the studio pre- and post-release, all in an attempt to give you the most complete and accurate picture I can. The picture painted is one of monolithic aspirations, passion, miscommunication, conflicting visions, mismanagement, attribution, scope creep, brutal triage, technical nightmares, and a global pandemic.
Attrition.
Oh, yeah. Attrition. What did I say?
Attribution. Just keep going. Just keep rolling with it. You got it.
Fucking idiot. As is the case with a lot of video games, it's a bit shocking that anything was released at all. It might be tempting to chalk up the unique challenges 343 ran into while developing Infinite as outliers, exceptions to the norm of game dev. After all, video games have been around for what, like 3 years now? That's a good joke. Surely this is an exception to the rule. To some degree, you'd be right. 343 isn't a weird place as a studio. Was. And so comparisons to other devs would be like comparing apples to rocks. With that said, it is interesting and curious that this keeps happening everywhere, always, constantly, across the board, with little or no individuals shared between troubled projects, almost as if, rather than individual developers or even leaders, there was something deeper at the root of it all. I don't want to say it's systemic.
Damn, hard cut.
Hard cut, yeah. Very on the nose. If I were writing this today, I might have, maybe buried the lead a little more. But I was really trying to find hooks for this intro because it's very dry at the moment, and I was really worried that people wouldn't give a fuck, especially because the video was going to be like an hour or two long. So,
Yeah, it's interesting that this is going to be like, this isn't really a reading as much as this is like a pre-editing pass.
Yeah, pretty
built-in
much.
critiques and commentary.
Well, more so commentary of why it never happened more than anything. Anyway, what is this YouTube hyperlink? Oh my God. That's so badass. All right, we got to listen to this together. Billy, I'll send it to you. This is the song that I want to play for the awesome intro of the character who's about to start talking here. All right, what's up, guys? It's your boy Michael Warfare with Strawman Gaming, back at it, breaking backs here again, saying what everyone's thinking, unless everyone is thinking slurs, in which case I would not say that. Breaking here real quick, you need to imagine really bad Halo 3 gameplay over all of this. And also, the video was going to be 3D animated, but this bit in particular was going to have the popsicle sticks. I thought that was cute because I'm doing strawmen here, and so having them literally be cardboard felt a little bit,
Okay.
We're playing last year's... Okay, never mind. It was Call of Duty, not Halo. we're playing last year's Call of Duty because Halo fucking sucks now. Sorry for not posting for a year. Turns out the FBI aren't big fans of peaceful protesting. And the upload date on the video is January 9th, 2022. Basically Halo's fucking gay now. Impossible to get a frag. Desync up the asshole. Always getting matched in lobbies with noobs and sweats. And that's what really pisses me off. 343 put in scrub-based matchmaking, but 1 year later, we still don't have any netcode. Look at this. And then play a shot where he just gets killed because it's a bad play. The lag is insane. I mean, you're telling me a stupid fucking horse game for little girls already has scroll back, but Halo Infinite, which according to Microsoft is like the biggest fucking game ever, doesn't even do online pinging. Now, everyone on the internet, which is fucking breaking Twitter right now, is saying that it's not the devs' fault because they had to do crunches for a week. But I have the real story. Now, I'm not supposed to share this. I might get censored. I'm not supposed to reveal my sources because my cousins at Microsoft said they want to be anonymous, which is cringe as fuck, but whatever. Basically, this footage shows everything they've been doing behind the scenes for the last 9 years instead of doing their job. Here's the clip. And then it's a video of two men kissing. You can tell Ed helped me write part of this, huh?
Yeah, that's an Ed joke. Just
look at this. What else needs to be said about this? Look at them. And then look at Infinite. Now ask yourself, who's really at fault here? The men touching the money? The men touching the controllers? Or the men touching each other? And then, like, I start looking at the video as if it's playing in real time and not in editing. And I'm like, stop kissing. Where is Griffball? You know, whatever. Hard cut out of it. Yeah, that's that's certainly 2023 writing. Holy shit.
Anything you'd change? Or is that
a few things that I would change about that. I mean, I still like parts of it. I like how angry I obviously am at every part of writing it. I think that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But it does no good in terms of positioning.
I like scroll back. That's pretty good.
Thanks. I like that part too. That was me. I came up with that one. Oh, the fucking horse game. I was talking about them's fighting herds, I think.
What the fuck is that?
That is a game that was originally a My Little Pony fighting game until they got cease and desisted and had to rebrand it. And so they designed something that looks like it was My Little Pony, but has all original characters. It is a 2D fighting game that people say is really good. And it has rollback.
Awesome.
So it was a weird, goofy pull.
Cool.
Anyway, you have any thoughts on that segment?
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid. I want to ask so many more questions, but I'm trying to not.
Listen, this is going to be episodic, so you might as well ask away.
How did that get on your radar?
Oh, God, I don't know. I really don't know, actually. That's a good question.
Does it still have an active community?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it did in 2023. Probably not now.
I wonder what all those developers are doing now. They sound competent. And that's
I mean, they
beautiful.
the game looked competent.
Yeah. Let's actually, this is the rest of the episode now. No, I genuinely just want to start researching this, and I'm okay. Fucking keep going. This is not going anywhere good for listeners.
Okay, next chapter.
This becoming like a retrospective on that game, just like instead of.
Okay, so after I yell about Griffball as this straw man character, we hard cut to the next chapter, brief rundown. It's been a while since the initial release, so to bring you up to speed, Infinite was actually pretty well received at launch. You already say that in the intro, dumbass. The multiplayer's beta was shadow dropped for free on the OG's 20th birthday, no less, followed by the full release alongside the campaign about a month later. The game was sparse in beta and not much better at launch, but people were mostly okay with that because 343 promised that this would be a, quote, living game. One that would be continually updated and augmented with new content for the next however many years, a la Fortnite, Rocket League, or Toontown. They didn't share a timeline, and the only promised features were co-op and Forge. I don't cover this in the video. I don't think in the script, but co-op was later cut as well. You can imagine how well that went. It took roughly a year for those features to roll out, one still in beta, and the studio has precious little else to show at time of recording or writing. Okay, yeah, so it hadn't been canceled at the time that I was writing this. That's brutal. Currently, the game would still be considered bare bones compared to modern competition, let alone previous Halo titles. The game currently has less concurrent players on Steam than the fucking MCC collection. I didn't know that. That's so grim. Oh my God. Wow, that's bad. Okay. Yeah, there are less people playing Halo Infinite than there are playing the Master Chief Collection, a port of all the previous Halo titles, every single one. And then I draw a big X over Halo 5 on the screen. The game's conspicuously absent from the collection because nobody fucking wants it. And although Xbox figures aren't public, I think it's safe to say that they're pretty similar. And then I have a note saying you should verify that before saying it. I feel okay saying that now because it's all just speculation and I wanted it to be more than that, but whatever, dude. Shut up. Fix your script. Public opinion has shifted from cautious positivity to predominantly jaded disappointment. Fewer are playing it, fewer still are happy with it. The question is on everyone's mind is how did we get here and why is Noodle so awesome and cool and everyone wants to subscribe to his Patreon? That's so fucking funny!
That's a good question. See, now you've evolved it to be funnier lately by adding why does everyone want to have sex with me?
Right. The joke that I keep needing to cut out of scripts because it's not funny.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Yeah, I think that one is that section's mostly fine, but it could really do with some cutting down. It's very long-winded. Unfortunately, it doesn't need to be there though, because it's just like, not everyone knows this. Anyway, next chapter, Genesis, parentheses, like the band. Early planning for Halo 6 was happening before Halo 5 had even been released. I say planning because proper development of the game didn't start until at least 2019. This is why gamers sound really smart when they say things like, I can't believe it took them 6 years to make this. It did not. That's not how anything works. November 2015. Halo 5 had just come out and the reception is mixed. Rather than continuing on with the Reclaimer saga as planned, 343 is stepping back to decide how to spend the next few years. That's a very pointed, angry comment from me because on the back of the box of Halo 4, the tagline was "The Reclaimer Saga Begins," and I thought that was really fucking funny in 2023.
Oh.
Here is a quote from Bonnie Ross, who at the time and until very recently was the CEO of 343. She says, "We really took that moment to kind of say, what is Halo? Like, if we're gonna move Halo forward, what is that deliberate core part of Halo that we can't deviate from going forward?" At the time of writing, it was rumored that she had been asked to step down. That's still not confirmed, but all we know for sure is that she stepped down. Was that ever verified? It would make sense, though. This is me speculating. Sam cannot confirm or co-sign on any of this, but author's note, it would make a lot of fucking sense because she took full responsibility for Halo Infinite and its mess of a state, for better or worse. As support wound down for Halo 5, those who weren't laid off were brought onto the 6 team, who were dicking around with different ideas for their next big project, a process called pre-production. As Jason Schreier puts it, it's one of the most challenging parts of making any game, narrowing down the possibilities from infinity to one, or in this case, from infinity to infinite. Laugh. It takes a lot of time. That's not even funny as a joke that's forced to not funny. That's just bad. At least I knew it was bad. I was trying to save it. It takes a lot of time to make a bunch of things that might end up being suck and no worky, but it is a necessary step of the process of deciding on what's worth investing millions of dollars and hundreds of people into. That should really be rewritten. That is a very confusing sentence. And it's a run-on too, especially when your last couple of attempts yielded mixed results. This is why concept art exists, and this is why you'll hear about studios spending months on prototypes that never go anywhere, all in service of finding the fun, and that's what 343 is currently doing. I'm really annoyed while writing this script that people don't know how game dev works. Wow. This is really basic shit.
I feel like maybe you've also gotten more acclimated to this information over the years, and so it feels less fresh.
Yeah, I've started taking it for granted. Yeah. Those. Here is another quote from Sean Barron, at the time director of franchise strategy and insights. Quote, "Those bits, it's not maybe something that a player would realize, but it's absolutely something that great designers can do when they have the time," in reference to pre-prod. The implication here being that they needed the time in order to find it, and that not every game has the luxury of spending so much time and money in pre-prod. I spend more time specifying here. Unlike most games, though, Infinite spent an unusually large amount of time not in development hell per se, but more like in pre-production limbo. From 2015 to 2017, things started to get iffy. Very little about Halo 6's design is set in stone. Priorities are shifting, scope is increasing, and prototype after prototype is experimenting with different ways of executing on both multiplayer and campaign. The only thing that anyone is sure of at this point is that it'll be a spiritual reboot. The multiplayer is going to be free to play with seasonal updates, probably, and the campaign's going to have an open world on a scale that could compete with Skyrim or Breath of the Wild. Imagine diverse biomes, massive vistas, complete freedom. This is all speculation. I cannot confirm any of it. This is me reckoning that this is what happened, and that's all that I can say. So do not take this as fact.
Say it the way you would say it now. Say, "I reckon."
Yeah, okay. I'm going to on the fly read this by interjecting and changing a bunch of stuff to make it sound like it is speculation, because it is. "I reckon that the new Zelda is one of leadership's biggest inspirations for the new direction at this point in time." This is around 2017. The idea is that instead of a linear campaign, players will be let loose to explore the ring as they see fit, completing missions in any order or in any way they want to. This is... to say... Okay, wow. To say this is an ambitious goal would be like describing Lincoln's assassination as a headache.
That's such like a dad joke. It feels so out of character here.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Holy shit,
I mean,
that's
there's a
so
note
cool.
that I said replace old used joke.
In all caps, replace, comma, old used joke.
Apparently, I've said that in a different video, which is even
That's
worse.
sick. That's really good.
Following up, Nintendo needed 4 years to ship Breath of the Wild. 343 is aiming to launch alongside the new Xbox in 2020. It's currently late 2017, and we're still in pre-production. That's a good way to cap off that, actually. I like that. Oh, I'm excited. Okay, the next page and a half, this will be what we close out on. I really like this bit. I was able to talk very much about this, and it's one of the first actually crazy fucking parts of this story. New chapter, Making Slip Space. Development rarely exists in clear-cut phases, and so the dates are pretty fuzzy here.
Holy fuck. Sorry.
Oh,
holy fuck. Yeah, keep going.
Currently, it's like 2017, 2018-ish. 343 is starting to focus heavily on onboarding for Halo 6. While some talented individuals are being brought in to create content, the engineering team is being bolstered to focus on the game's programming, the dev tools, the slip space engine. Would love Sam commentary here because I'm kind of overextending my explanation of some stuff in this next bit.
Okay.
In the world of programming, the phrase tech debt gets thrown around a lot. It's a shorthand for when engineers make shit quick and dirty just to get it out the door, rather than taking the time needed to build something sustainable. The more you take the quick route, the more debt you rack up. Debt that'll have to be paid off later when someone else has to redo everything. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, the tech debt also, it doesn't, not necessarily... Like, it happens when you make quick and dirty decisions, but it can also just happen when you make wrong decisions or small decisions that no longer fit to another thing that you're doing later.
Yeah, because like your project is like, it's constantly evolving and twisting and turning, and so a decision that might have made sense a couple months ago may not make sense now.
Yeah, it becomes something that you then have to address later, much like debt.
Yeah.
That's the deal. So yeah, close enough.
Let's get this out of the way real quick. Despite what the marketing may imply, Slipspace is not a new it's not a new game engine. Like every modern engine, it is a ship of Theseus, largely built on top of the original code used to make Halo, 21 years ago at time of writing. 343 is still using an updated version of this tech for a lot of reasons, but one of the biggest ones is that the Halo engine was purpose-built to make Halo, and so it's perfect for making Halo. However, Halo Infinite is not a Halo game, it is a Halo Infinite game. What that means is that currently, the engine is completely, woefully unequipped to support an open world. Using legacy code from years ago isn't inherently bad, it's kind of necessary. I mean, see also Unreal Engine. And you can see hints of it all over the place if you know where to look, and then I cite that really cool thing wherever, you know, the flickering light code from Quake is still present in Half-Life Alyx.
I love this fact.
It's very awesome. But in our case, there's a lot of debt racked up. This is a... I'm going to read this sentence the way it's written, and you're going to understand, listener, why it threw me through a loop. But in our case, there's a lot of debt we've racked up over the last 20 years that really needs paying off, which, of course, takes time and money.
Yeah, so I also thought that was a verbal stumble. But no, it says debt we racked up.
Yeah, really, that's
cool.
This is what an undercooked script is like. Imagine yourself in the place of an engineer. You've just been told that you have to turn an engine that can only run at exactly 60 FPS, only runs on an Xbox, and can only handle a map this big, into one that could support variable frame rates, PC crossplay, a new console that doesn't exist yet, and an open world, and it's got to be done immediately. As if all that weren't enough, though, you also have to make a brand new set of tools for the level designers to create that open world. Among these tools was a particularly infamous piece of software called Faber, the goal of which was to absorb and replace many of the existing tools and, among other things, make an entire level editor from scratch that could compete with Unreal Engine. I mean, I know that I'm like saying this in a way that where it sounds crazy, but like, dude, I really can't stress enough how fucking ambitious that is with the time frame they were working with. This is psychotic.
I'm working on level design tooling for a project right now on a way, way, way smaller scale. And doing that while people are working in the tools is still a lot.
Yeah,
that's fucking awesome. Dude, I forgot that detail for them.
Here is a quote from an anonymous developer. Faber was all new tech. It was a brand new tool. That kind of software is unbelievably hard to create. Extremely complicated, lots of moving parts. Just look at Unity or Unreal. That's what you're trying to build. Tons of little workflows and menus for just every little thing. Thoughts, Sam?
Yeah, I agree. That's fucked up.
Yeah. It's like it's really hard for people. I like that quote, and the reason I put it there is because I love the granularity it adds. It gets you it stops you from thinking about the big scale of like, oh, you need to make a program that makes a mountain. It's like, no, every little fucking drop-down menu has to be made by somebody. Best of all of this work has to be done while the rest of the studio is trying to make the rest of the game. Any little change made without care could break 1 or 10 or 100 things for someone on the other side of the building. Fred over there just got a very strong-worded email from multiplayer about the change your team made to the runtime yesterday. Every engineer I spoke to agreed that regardless of manpower, they were given a completely unrealistic deadline. Imagine rebuilding a table while you were trying to set the table at the same time.
That's good. I like that one.
Another quote from an anonymous developer. Constant breaks to the engine made it scary to do anything in fear that you'll break it for everyone else. Most days you had to work with old content because updating to new content could block you. Yeah, that sounds like a really creatively conducive environment. Jesus Christ. Combine a legacy toolset featuring ancient bugs in desperate need of fixing with a level editor barely entering pre-alpha, all of which had to be created as quickly as physically possible, resulting in even more debt, and you end up with software so unreliable that people had taken to calling it tech bankrupt. And then I have a little. That's confirmed, by the way. Jason Schreier also reported on that. So
yeah, when you say barely entering pre-alpha, is that like an internal designation that they had made, or are you just describing like the state of the tools?
That's just me describing.
Would be what a gamer would say.
Yeah,
okay.
That's the kind of thing that makes sense to a gamer. No one put it to me like that.
Okay,
good flag. That's the kind of thing that that you would tell me to stipulate on, and I would listen to if we were writing the script today. There's a big side note here. I think the reason I had put this here is because it felt tangential and it bogged down the pacing. My solution was I was just going to have a thing on the screen that said, if you want more information, you should pause and check the description for this thing. And it would read as follows. You might be hearing all of this and be wondering why they didn't just switch to Unreal. The studio decided that was not a good idea. Partially, no doubt, because it would be incredibly difficult to port everything from the Slipspace engine to Unreal midway through development. That's something that has happened before and famously tanked many games. Think Duke Nukem Forever. And there's also an argument to be made that, like, you know, part of what makes Halo feel like Halo is the engine it was made in, and if you move to Unreal, then, you know, you would have to redesign a lot of that stuff to make an Unreal Engine game feel like Halo. That's a really interesting thing for me to have said before, knowing that they did in fact just do that anyway for the game that's now about to come out. I'm so curious how that game's actually going to feel whenever it drops in a couple weeks at time of recording.
Yeah, I'm really curious if they did like wasn't there a thing with like Sonic Colors where they like glued parts of Godot onto parts of the original Sonic Colors engine or some shit?
I don't know, but I know that the original Halo Combat Evolved did do that. It was they glued a proprietary render engine on top of the original game's logic because it was all deterministic.
Ah, that's fun.
Well, it's fun until you actually play the game and you realize that the difference in poly count is so substantial that it leads to a lot of problems. Because,
like I said, that's fun.
Yeah, Halo 1's collision detection, just like there's no obfuscation. It's all just run on the actual geometry. But that would be a very stupid thing to do for a game with 360 fidelity, and I've talked about that at length.
So there was like a mismatch between the visual geometry and the collision geometry.
Yeah, so you'll just like try to snipe somebody, and then you'll hit a wall that doesn't make any sense to be there.
Yeah,
there's this very infuriating incongruity between visual feedback and the actual rule set of the level.
Yeah, making good collision geo is tough, and that's very
and that's
a weird way to go about it.
They didn't make any collision geo. They just used the old game's logic. They learned their lesson with Halo 2 because they did the exact same thing with that game, but the GO is much more faithful to Halo 2's original geometry, and that also makes sense because Halo 2 had much more sophisticated geometry in a lot of places, so less abstraction.
It was easier for them to match the collision geometry with the new art.
Yeah, but they also just had more time to make Halo 2, and they had learned from Halo 1, one must assume. This is all me speculating, but I'm pretty fucking confident in what I'm saying here.
Yeah. Oh, last thing to quickly clear up. Your Fred over there, that's a hypothetical guy.
Yeah,
a hypothetical
there's no
example.
guy
That's
I
not
spoke
a real.
to called Fred who works in multiplayer.
Just to clarify, just in case there is a Fred who works in multiplayer that you're like...
Dude, imagine Fred from multiplayer listening to this and having a fucking heart attack.
Like, hey! Yeah. Okay.
Well,
just in case.
I didn't even speak to him. What the fuck? I didn't tell anybody
especially
that.
Because if there was a Fred in multiplayer...
Oh my god, the guy I sent the fucking email to, he told this noodle fucker.
Fucking rat. Yeah. Oh my god. Well, damn. So I have my question, my little theory I wanted to throw at you about something you said about the script.
Yeah, let's just real quick.
Yeah.
Listener, this is going to be a multi-episode thing. We just reached the end of page 6. We have another 10 to get through. Wait, no, we have another 10 or so to get through. So this is going to be at least one more episode worth of material.
You mentioned that you had been, in the writing of this script, like, very pissed off about other people not knowing game development concepts to the point of making a big deal about the word pre-production.
Yeah.
Your last Halo video at this time would have been the Halo is important video. How much of that is like projected anger at a younger version of yourself?
First of all, that's not true. It would have been how not to do a remaster or whatever the fuck.
Right.
Those came out.
That one.
Those came out.
I thought that was...
They both came out at a pretty similar time, though. There's a reason people thought about me as the Halo guy for a while.
Yeah, I mentally merged those into the same video because I don't care about my friend's career.
Oh, I mean, you should not care about those videos. They're bad. You know, I was thinking about making a second channel video just reflecting on those videos and why I really don't like them. But honestly, maybe that could be Final V3. We're already talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right on the money, though. I mean, like I really said a lot of stupid bullshit in both of those videos. A short version is that Halo is important is just very self-contradicting. Like it says a lot of things that don't mean anything. It says a lot of things that I thought were really smart but don't mean anything. And a few times it just either, makes confidently says an incorrect assumption like it's a fact that I just know, or just makes a wild guess at something that's just not accurate.
Right.
Very classic YouTuber thinks he's smart, says a bunch of shit with authority kind of thing.
Yeah.
And how not to do a remaster is I still agree mostly with the critiques that I make, but the positioning of that video is abhorrent and I hate how I handle it. Because the entire time I'm like viscerally demonizing 343 and especially Saber Interactive. And it's just totally unwarranted. And I knew, part of me even knew it at the time because like I took care to stipulate that I reckoned the reason for it was because they didn't have a lot of time to develop the thing, but I just was too mad and I liked being mad too much to rein myself in. And I couldn't think of I liked the framing of being able to direct this frustration at a character, a thing, a characterization of an entity. And I thought it was okay because I was directing it at a company, not an individual, which is incredibly naive looking back. And I'm more than anything, I'm just thankful that I didn't release that video at a time whenever Halo was particularly relevant, because I very well could have accidentally incited a hate campaign against certain people who worked at the studio at the time.
Yeah, damn. I wish I had more to add to that.
I've been thinking about it for a while. These are very developed thoughts.
Yeah. Fuck. I wish I had more to add to that, but it's been very weird because like this script would have been written right as we started talking, which I don't know how that maps mentally onto like your pivot from the person that you were at the time of making those videos into the worst version of you that exists now.
Yeah.
That used to be good and funny.
Yeah,
and
I used
now
to have a fucking sense of humor about things.
Used to have a spine.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I certainly wasn't as... I didn't hold these views as strongly back then, but already in, 23, I was not entirely comfortable with how those videos came off. I don't remember exactly where I was on that transition, but I wasn't proud of them anymore. That much I can tell you.
Yeah. It's interesting that I feel like I can hear you starting to work through that using this script.
Yeah, I really was in a way, you know? Because I mean, I was still standing on the peak of Mount Stupid, you know, like the Dunning-Kruger effect. I thought I knew everything and I knew fucking nothing, and then I started actually doing research for the videos that I make, like you should do, and I realized how little I actually know. And I'm still in that stage now. The more you learn, the less you know. I always defer to people who know more than me whenever I talk about these things nowadays. There's a reason Sam reviews a lot of my scripts, and it's not just because he's a good script writer, but yeah.
I still fuck it up sometimes on purpose to mess with you and interfere with your career.
Yeah. I haven't found any of the times you've done that yet, and it's really weighing on me. So I just wanted to say thank you for that.
A reckoning is coming.
Yeah, I don't know. I reckon it's coming. That's a good joke. Billy, I'm glad you're here.
Play it twice. Glad you're here. Billy, thanks. Thanks for the help. Yeah, I don't know. So how do you, I guess, overall, now having read this bit, how do you feel like this has held up for the past 3 years or whatever the last time you worked on it was?
Surprisingly structurally sound. Mm-hmm. I like what I'm doing here, which is that I'm doing a dual structure. I'm simultaneously presenting different problems through different time periods. It's not exactly a dry recount of what's happening. There's a lot of editorializing happening here, but it makes it easier to follow along with, and nothing that I'm saying isn't true. And so, like, yeah, I sort of assigned pre-production to the era of 2015 to 2017. It's not really that clean, and I try to make that clear, but it allows us to assign a kind of problem to a particular time on the time frame, which makes it easier to keep track of as I add more and more to it. Then making slip space happens, that gives me the opportunity to talk about slip space. And it makes sense that I would bring slip space up here because this is where it started to be a problem, and it would plague the game's development leading up to and beyond a release. And so it needs to be it needs to be established early on because I'm also like doing setup for later sections.
Yeah.
And so like I've clearly spent a lot of time retroactively, like looking back on this, like a lot of my energy was spent making sure that this was structurally sound.
Yeah.
But the actual minutia of the thing is very rough, and that makes sense because, you know, you always want to try and get the structure down before you hone in on the little things.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean, even down to like for the date structure thing, like totally works. And then one of the things you would have circled back and done is like, okay, fuzz those out where you don't have the confirmation to like the ranges.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, this is something that you and I do all the time. I think your input definitely helped, but I think I did come up with the idea myself of like, you know, I want to assign particular problems to particular parts of the timeline, and I'm surprised at just how well it works. I mean, obviously, I do have to like backtrack in order to establish some other stuff later down in the scripts, but that was going to happen either way because you can't. Like, the nature of game development is so interconnected that you can't really explain one issue in a vacuum without making a bunch of stipulations and establishing a bunch of other stuff. Yeah. So I'm doing the best that I can to like lay the groundwork in a staggered way that still carries momentum. And I think at least from a top-down perspective, it is accomplishing that. It's just really bloated and undercooked, which is the kind of thing that a rewrite would help fix.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you. I think you sometimes don't give yourself enough credit for your ability to structure a script and structure a good path through different ideas. But like, yeah, I really don't have any, I wouldn't, if you came to me with this today, I don't think I would have And he knows. It feels like you're doing the thing that this kind of story often does, which is like you are setting up all of the dominoes on the domino track, and then you're going to hit a point where they start falling down. And there's a beautiful, horrible moment where you're still laying down new dominoes while the previous ones are falling and catching up to get you.
We got that. We got the moment collapses. In there too. Yeah, we've got all of it. It's all in here.
On a real life level, it's horrifying, but on a narrative level, and trying to capture that feeling, for you. It's fun. I mean, all of these project stories are like the exhilaration of trying to outpace and like get to the ending of something that's kind of collapsing behind you, or that your decisions are catching up with you. Is exhilarating and terrifying.
You can feel me setting that up, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
These are all of the little pieces that are going to come back to fuck you later.
Yeah.
But you're not introducing them as.
Well, I'm glad you're picking up on that.
I mean, you are in these cases, but like, there's ways that it's gonna fuck them later. That it's
right. Of course. I mean, you already know that that's where it's going, but I'm glad that it is, because that's what I wanted it to do. Is I wanted it to feel simultaneously interesting and exciting, but also deeply disconcerting, because like I am being very clear about how ambitious a lot of this is and how crazy it is, and we already know as a viewer where it's going, but you don't know exactly how it goes wrong yet, and that's what I'm holding out on.
And you're maybe even like, there's a more extreme version of this script, because you are kind of turning your hand a little much here, where you're like explaining the problems with the decisions that they're making as they're happening, which I think is a good idea for the script. But like, to this day, one of my favorite talks ever given that is borderline unlistenable unless you have a lot of really specific knowledge. But I've told you about this before. It was a talk about the asset building pipeline, not constructing as an artist, but like the thing that turns the artist's work into playable content in the game.
For Destiny, right? Yes, yeah. I love this story. I don't remember most of the technical details, but when you explained and broke it down to me, I loved every part that I understood.
Yeah, I would have to rewatch it, but like the way that the storytelling of that talk works is the speaker keeps explaining bits and telling you why they're such good ideas. And then he'll pause for a little bit too long. And it gets to a point where at one point he says, that's a great plan. We're just going to do all of the good things and have none of the bad things. And then he waits. And then
you would hear the audience nervously laugh at that.
Yeah. And then he hits the point where he starts explaining all of the flaws in the idea. And then he hits the end of it and he says, so those are all of the flaws in theory. We haven't gotten to the practice yet. And then he starts like, that's when you realize like, oh, we haven't actually moved the timeline forward at all. This is even all of this talking about how it's going to fall apart is just set up for the real way it's going to fall apart. Where it gets to a point where like it was a 32-bit application is like a dramatic reveal. Because 32-bit applications can only address like 4 gigabytes of RAM. And it's like, and so he builds up this point where it's like, here's how much memory this thing was using. It's a fucking mess. And there's a version of this script that you go even further into that, where you just start explaining, here's all of the awesome shit that we're going to do with our new engine. Yeah. And we're going to build a new level editor that is competitive with Unity and Unreal. And I smile at you for a minute. Isn't that cool?
This is exactly what we did with Bass Reeves.
You know what? I think you're right. Maybe that was even a reference point. I think I might have talked about it.
I think you did.
Yeah. Fuck, you're right.
Yeah.
But it was you that came up with the idea of not revealing that the game was canceled until it happened.
Yeah, but once I brought that to the table, everyone, including the developers, latched onto it.
Yeah. Oh man.
So you co-wrote that thing. I'm sure that you're remembering that talk absolutely, both consciously and unconsciously informed the way we told it. But yeah, the result is the same. It's absolutely like it's interesting because the execution is different on that one. Because my goals were different. I really wanted people to sympathize from an outsider's perspective. I wanted them to feel like they were getting an insider look. So because that would get them invested. So whenever the bad news finally does hit, you feel the loss alongside the people who had to make amends with it.
Yeah. And you're even seeing that. Oh, you first. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say that's very different from what the Destiny talk was doing, because they knew how that like that's a game that shipped, we know how that story ends. he wouldn't be able to talk about it if it wasn't a problem that has at least been partially sorted. But with Bass Reeves, people really thought that game was coming out until we told them it wasn't.
Yeah. No, it's interesting because you can even see that starting to happen here. I think this is something we talked about at the time, asking the listener to imagine themselves on the development team.
Which is something I explicitly have done in the script at least once already.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And it's something that I'm doing it in subtle ways too, but it's like something that I really wanted to accomplish. I kept coming back to it while writing this, you know. It wasn't just like, imagine you're an engineer and you get asked to do an impossible thing. It's also like, it's not imagine two teams beefing it out. It's imagine Fred from multiplayer just got a really strongly worded email, you know? I want you to imagine a situation. Yeah, I want you to imagine the people who are doing this. Because it's a big fucking studio, and it's really hard to think about it that way. But at the end of the day, people are the ones who made this, and people are the ones who told me about it. And so I really wanted to try to translate that human experience into the script as much as I could without identifying anybody. And it was a really fucking hard line to walk.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's interesting because, like, on the Bass Reeves script, it almost worked a little bit too well in some cases where I think people, like, conflated the emotional stakes of how personally they were identifying with the people, because you're hearing their voices and hearing them talk about it, with like the scale of the project, because we almost only ever get this kind of story for projects that are at the scale of Halo Infinite. I think it's really easy watching the Bass Reeves video to forget how small that project was.
Yeah.
And I definitely saw some reactions from people where they were like, it was like, this reaction would make sense if this was like a huge project with a ton of people, but it's kind of overblown for the scale of like what that was.
What are you talking about specifically in terms of the reaction?
I saw people like connecting that story to like large scale cases of industry mismanagement. I forget the specific games. But it was like, oh, fuck. I wish I could remember. I would actually have to go back and look. But it was like
Halo Infinite would not surprise me if it was one of the big things people didn't point to, because like mismanagement is a big theme with a lot of the coverage and like speculation around the game.
Yeah, and it was also like a lot of realizing that people had assumed that this Bass Reeves being canceled like ruined the lives of the people who worked on it, which was tough because that was something we tried to make clear. Like that was one of the special things about that project, is that couldn't happen.
Well, I mean, listen,
it was a part-time.
I'm just going to go ahead and just straight up say that's not our fault. We were as clear as we could possibly be about it. The developers straight up said that, like, we showed every possible moment wherever everyone who worked on that game explicitly reckoned with it and made their peace with it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that didn't totally register to people because they were feeling the emotional arc of the piece enough that like, it just, that part went past them. It felt like a big intense thing, and their less emotional understandings of this kind of story have come from like more objective reporting about other games. And so like all of this shit felt like it kind of, in some of the reactions I saw to it, it felt like all those things kind of blended together in a weird way, which is
interesting. Yeah.
Odd.
Thankfully that's a vocal minority of reactions. Most people, for most people, it landed the way we wanted it to, which I'm still quite proud of and pleased with.
I'm still really happy with that. The only thing that I still kick myself over is the fact we didn't include one beat of being like, now remember, prototype funding is just funding for the prototype.
We
for
really
them
weren't.
They can unlock. I
don't know how did we fuck that up? Because like I was hitching on that when doing the research. I didn't know what the fuck prototype funding was until it was explained to me. Why did I not feel the need to be more specific about that?
Because we do explain what it was in the beginning, but it's really important again at the end to remember that unlocking the last piece of prototype funding is not unlocking the funding for the full game. That's a separate process.
Yeah, it just means you finished the product. It just means you finished the prototype.
Yeah, and it's frustrating because our entire bit at the end comes from making that feel sudden and confusing.
Yeah.
But if you've lost, because it's been like an hour or whatever, less than an hour, but it's been almost an hour. If you lost that piece of information or you didn't fully internalize it because it's really specific and weird and not something you normally think about, that does stumble over the finish.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Minor misstep in the grand scheme of fuck-ups that could have happened working on something like that.
Yeah. And we haven't even gotten in the Halo Infinite script to the part where like most of the stuff that we're drawing parallels to is landed.
Yeah.
But next time.
We're still just setting stuff up right now, man. This is, like I said, we got 10 more pages of this, not including the loose notes that hadn't been arranged yet.
Yeah, all of which we will be reading.
Yes, raw, unfiltered quotes with associations with people who said it so we can dox them.
Yes, hyperlinks to other articles without specification of why we're attributing that article.
Just one of them is just like a fucking like a cooking recipe.
Yeah, my bad, scratch pad.
All right. Well, how do we end this?
Fuck you. Yeah, no.
No,
thanks for listening.
That's
guys.
too easy.
Thanks for listening, guys. We'd like to announce
we forgot
we're going on another hiatus. Starting now.
Yeah, we're on a new hiatus. It'll last until the next upload comes out. Hope that helps.